Greetings and God bless. I wanted to do a little video about AT&T. So I've had an AT&T prepaid phone for about 15 years, more or less. And so in May, I thought my phone, because I had upgraded my phone 2 years ago because AT&T said we're changing to 5G. So I got a new phone. It was like this kind, and it wasn't dialing properly. So I took it back to the AT&T store, and the guy gave me a different phone, and it said 4G on it. But in May, my phone was deactivated. The $200 I had on it went up in smoke, and um, and they sold my number apparently within the month. So I went to the AT&T store a couple weeks later. They were unable to retrieve my phone number, but they did. The AT&T store was able to access my account. The many years that I've had an AT&T phone, they were able to find the amount that I had on file, and they assured me that customer service would be able to help me get the balance, the extra $100. The thing is, I had to buy a new phone, pay extra money. So basically, I had to pay 90 some dollars in order to get basic service that I had already paid for and had for 15 years. So AT&T just was like, you should be able to accept it, So fortunately, at the AT&T store, they were able to compensate me $100 out of my $200, although I already had to pay $100. So it was like this ridiculous game. And the thing is, this is an assault on people who are on a budget, people who are financial minimalists that don't want to hustle and kill themselves for a job so they could pay too much money for crappy technology. So, AT&T did not know what they were doing. They didn't know that when they shut down this 3G network in May, they didn't know that 4G was on it. So these tech people didn't know how their system worked, and they just crashed and burned it for us prepaid people who AT&T probably does not care about. I mean, it's clear AT&T is in the top three of worst companies, and I think just equal to Comcast and I don't know, Verizon. So I call customer service. So I had to go through all these voice bots things. And the thing is, my situation is unique. It's not like I just was trying to pay a bill. Like AT&T cut my service. They lost my $200. They lost my number. I mean, this is not something I can tell a bot in the phone voicemail thing. So finally, after 5 minutes, and it's most about aggravating 5 minutes because I don't know where I fall in the voicemail system. And so I talked to this lady, and it sounds like she's in Jamaica or the Philippines or something. And I tell her, I explain my situation, and she's like, "Well, we don't have any record of we don't have any record of you." And so yeah, all the years I've had my account, they've been able to find my records. But I guess, you know, AT&T does not use people's names anymore. They use the phone number, and they conveniently erase the phone number. So it's like erasing my account. So anyways, I had to push to be like, well, explaining I've had an account, and so finally she does something, and she's able to find my account, right? Then she says, "Well, we can't pay you the balance." And I'm like, "I need to talk to your manager." And I'm summarizing a half-hour phone call of many, like 5 minute stretches where she's not talking because she's probably discussing something. She's in training, so they're probably training her to be a hard ass on customers. And so 25 minutes into it, she's like, I can't pay your balance because we don't have any record of your balance. And I have my receipt of the last time I paid. So I have a record of the balance. And if AT&T is, like AT&T, like they shouldn't be selling us this. They shouldn't be giving prepaid if they don't have an intention of supporting prepaid. That's a bait and switch. And AT&T did not give us a notification that they were shutting down the system. So go make sure your phone's okay. They did this 2 years ago, but like now it's like the Wild West. Now nobody has to do anything. Nobody has to take care of their customers. Um, and they're certainly they don't care. And so after I said I want to talk to your manager, then the customer service person said I'll be able to fix your account. So it's like they put like companies in general put a lot of friction to make it difficult for you to actually find the right person to talk to. And the thing is, before that, AT&T sabotaged the phone system. They took down 3G, which is 4G. So they broke the system that us prepaid phone users were using. And if AT&T is a decent company, they should give notifications. Systems going down. 3G, 4G is going down in May 2022. Get your new phone. And they shouldn't be selling this. I mean, like, or if they're not planning on providing what they are selling, that's not capitalism. And I know everybody's going to be like, well, that's capitalism. No, it's not. I mean, that's criminal. You don't do a bait and switch. So it was only because I insisted I get the balance for what I paid for, and I was like, I have my receipt. Um, that I was able to get what was justifiably mine. I shouldn't have had to have a half hour of aggravation, not to mention, 3, 4 hours of having to make my way to an AT&T store and wait for them to figure things out and go through the agony of like, oh, well, maybe I'll have lost that $200. Like, because I spent my $100 in advance because I was trying to be on the ball about these kind of things. And then AT&T thinks they can throw away my money. And the thing is, it's not like AT&T is a charity. They never have given me anything like that I haven't really fought for that wasn't mine. I mean, like, I had to buy this crappy $60 phone that I didn't need. Like, so anyways, um maybe this is just how everybody's been doing business, and I'm slow to the party, but I just wanted to give you a heads up that companies they don't know what they're doing. Like AT&T shut down its 3G, 4G system. So they just messed up a lot of people's phones. And they're like, oh, our mistake. Oh, well, and I'm sure there's other people who have lost hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars on the phone, and they just are sucking it up. And AT&T is like, well, we can do whatever we want because, we're AT&T. We're too big to fail. And AT&T has all this crap, all this friction that they put to make it very difficult for anybody but the more assertive and frugal. Like, they make it so it's just this big hassle. And I feel bad for the AT&T employees because they're kind of set to take the brunt of what the decision makers in AT&T are doing, and the decision makers don't care. And nobody else cares. That's the thing. Like, they're like, customer protection agencies will tell you you're wrong somehow for having been a customer at AT&T. Or there's no reason in anybody's mind that the customer has a point. When the telephone company shuts down their system and the customer loses their phone number, loses their prepaid minutes, and has to go through all this crap. People don't think that that's a problem. People think that that's business. And if that was the way I was to people, they would not like me. Maybe they would respect me though. And maybe I'd be rich. I would have no friends. People would despise me, but I'd have money and people's respect, people's regard, because that's all that seems to matter. It doesn't seem like common sense justice is to be expected. And this is all the more proof to me that we are in this fallen demonic world. And I had a similar experience as a customer with a storage unit where they raised the price 3 times this month. So it was $60 and they raised it to $175. And everybody I asked, the customer protection folks, they were like, no, a company can raise their price as much as they want here in the state. And the thing is, when we're in like New York or San Francisco, that kind of practice does not really happen. And those companies don't really do well because they get boycotted. Nobody wants to be jerked around. So they'll go to a company that's decent. Um, and that's the thing about competition is even though those bad companies with bad practices, even though they'll still be around, they're going to be the loser, And so when somebody wants to be a winner, well, you're a winner when everybody wants to work with you. And so that's why companies in big world-class cities, like those are better companies because they want to be the winner. They want to be the real winner. And in like, backwaters like Montana or South Dakota or whatever, where, nobody cares. Everybody's just, they've got different priorities. Bad stuff can happen and people are like, oh, well, that's just the way it is, and it doesn't affect them because they don't need certain services like like I'm needing storage and so I don't know if that last part made sense, but I'm just giving you a heads up that companies think that they can do whatever they want, and you need to hold their feet to the fire and make sure you have your documentation. That doesn't necessarily mean that you get what they want. They can do criminal things clearly, and nobody's going to do anything about it. And I really don't know exactly what I could do, but just want to give you a heads up that I mean, I don't know. I was gonna say don't go away on your vacation because who knows what's gonna happen, and if you're something weird is gonna happen, and you're gonna be left high and dry. But maybe being on vacation and you know, like uh, realizing how inconsequential your storage unit is, maybe that does is better. But I'm like, well, what if your storage unit goes up, 1,000% and you come home and all of your work equipment has been disposed of in the dumpster because you weren't there and you didn't pay that money. But, I don't know. Maybe this carefree, happy-go-lucky life brings more money. Like people just throw money at that kind of a person rather than somebody who's a bit more serious and practical and tangible like I am. So, anyways, just the latest in the saga of being a customer in 2022. Thanks for listening.